Hello everyone and welcome on the Papier de Rêve channel. I'm Ursula and today I will be painting with you some marigolds. I thought that this flower was the perfect flower to transition slowly into fall, even though the fall in Spain is really not as the fall in France or in Sweden. So this marigold with very gold, red gold colors is a perfect in between summer and fall. And because I want this first feeling of fall in this painting, I'm starting by adding a layer of yellow and osy red gold on my paper. I want a very warm background with a lot of water because I want the colors to be really smooth and to blend in one another. So I'm using nickel as a yellow and osy red gold for this background, and I'm adding also a little bit of greens with a mix of Indanthren blue, Amazonite genuine, and nickel as a yellow or osy red gold in order to give some different greens on my paper. And as my paper is totally wet, all the colors are blending together and everything is really smooth. But it's a perfect opportunity to mark the bigger area of color on my painting. So some greeneries at the bottom and almost nothing at the top. And I can already paint some stems, some foliage, some buds of flower. They will smooth away in this wet paper, but they will be there, and it will help me to build the background and give some interest to the painting. And as I know that watercolor will dry really lighter than it applies at first, I dare to put darker greens in some area that I want to be darker in any way, so that when everything is dry there will be still color in these areas. And once this first layer is totally dry, I can start adding the marigold on my paper, the flowers. I want to place them quite early in the painting just to be sure of the placement and to be able to balance the composition if need be, if I see that it's not working or something. I try to use my brush to paint the petal of the flower in one gesture, and I try to keep some area white or in the color of the background. I try to not paint everything because in my reference picture the marigolds are backlighted and there is a fine line, golden line around the petal, and I want to show that in my painting. It's very hard to do, and I do not think that I was able to get this effect in this painting, but I try a technique and next time I could try another one. As I want some fluidity in this painting, I'm adding a lot of water with a spray bottle so that I get hard edges where my first stroke of paint is untouched by the water, and some areas are really soft because they were blurred by the water. I like to mix hard edges and soft edges in flower painting. I think it gives a lot of softness and fluidity to the painting, and it's a little bit more poetic that way. For the colors of the marigold, I'm using quinacridone burnt scarlet mixed with a little bit of osy red gold in order to get a red, orangey red, a little bit on the earthy side of the spectrum, and it's a little bit darker red. It's a really strange color, the colors of marigold, and I try my best to mimic it with what I got in my palette. But let's talk about supplies. For the brushes, I'm using an Escoda Último number 18 and a Raphaël Petit Gris 903 number 12. For the colors, I'm using Indanthren blue, Amazonite genuine, nickel azo yellow, Aussie red gold, and quinacridone burnt scarlet. And my paper today is from Arches in hot pressed. I've chosen to work with hot pressed paper today because I really like the softness of this paper when working wet on wet, and as my first layer I wanted it to be very soft. It was quite a natural choice for me to work with hot pressed paper. And I also like the randomness of texture you can have with hot press paper. There is bloom forming in some area, and I'm totally okay with that, just because it gave interest and it gave texture, and it's a really nice paper to work with. So for my third and last layer of painting, I'm adding more colors to the marigold flowers, and I try to keep the red orangey color to the petal, but at the center I'm infusing some nickel azo yellow in the center, so that the center is a little bit lighter and has a gold hue to it. And I'm using my brush to make the petal in almost one stroke. This brush is a flat brush but with a round edge, so that it's really a nice brush to make organic shape with it. And it's a very soft brush, so that you can press it on the paper to make bigger shape, and you can just brush super lightly the paper with no pressure at all to make a fine line with it. And that's what I'm doing in order to make the buds of flower and the stem. For the bud, I'm pressing on my paper, my brush, so that I get a really oval shape really easily and quickly. And then with no pressure at all, I'm able to get a really fine stem for each bud. For the colors, I'm using still my mix of Indanthren Blue, Amazonite Genuine, and either nickel azo yellow or Aussie red gold. I'm using nickel azo yellow when I want a lighter and a shinier green, and I'm using Aussie red gold to get a little bit more murkier green, shadow green in some sort. And when I paint the buds, I paint it at first with light colors, and then I'm going back in the bottom of the bud with a really darker color that will blend with the lighter color in order to make a shadow appear on this area. And I'm still using my brush, pressing it light or not as light, in order to make all the shape of the foliage. And it's quite a relaxing step to make all those little leaves on the stem, just because you do not have to think too much about it. You can just follow the stem and put leaves here and there, just by pressing the brush on the paper a bit lightly at a certain area and less lightly in other areas, so that you have all kind of shape of leaves in this area. In all the layer of that painting, I'm using a spray bottle with just water in it. You cannot see it on the video, just because it was a bit further away from the paper, but I'm spraying my paper regularly with a spray bottle with water, and it gives a nice texture to it. It blends a little bit more the colors together. It gives feathery edges in some area, and I like this texture a lot. I think it's a really calming texture, and it goes quite well with my painting today. And this video is now ending. Thanks for watching, and I hope you liked it. And if you liked it, please subscribe to my channel to see more painting from me. And please check the blog post for more information about it, and tell me what you think in the comment. See you soon.